when me and my friend Edgar first heard about Local H playing 7 nights in a row at the Beat Kitchen, we both flipped out. I can remember sitting in front of the computer, hitting the refresh button, again and again and again and again, trying to get a pair of those 7-night passes. And when I finally did, all I could think about for the rest of the school year was getting out of my last final, driving the 6 hours back from Cleveland to Chicago, and going right to the first night of Local H at the Beat Kitchen. And, my first impression was, holy shit, Local H is playing nearly everything they've ever recorded, all their studio albums, and I get to be there. I think about the amount of dedication and time they had to put into that, weeks of practice, learning the songs that I'm sure they haven't played in a long time. It was especially some of those songs that you could tell that Scott just hated having to play. He would kind of go up on stage and go, oh, here we go. And it was funny, but you could tell that some of those songs probably are never going to be played live again. But anyway, taking one night at a time, each night of the show, each night of the 7 nights, had all the elements of a Local H show. It was awesome live performance, Scott's sarcasm, that one dude in the pit who was way too fucked up. But kind of looking back on the 7 nights as a whole, I think my favorite moment was that kind of sentimental moment when you realize how much that they had accomplished. Here's this band that was playing 7 nights of sold-out shows with different material in each show. That's a huge amount of music. You could, each night you could kind of almost track their development from, the grunge days, Ham-Fisted, all the way to the release of 12 Angry Months, which was this culmination in the final night. It kept me believing that Local H is one of the few great rock bands left. They play this kind of brand of rock and roll that both sticks to its roots and stays modern at the same time. And I keep referring to each individual night, but I think the way you got to look at it is kind of this 7 nights was kind of one show. It was one experience. People would go home every night after the show physically, but I feel like everyone was there in spirit. I would go home and go to bed, but I would wake up the next day, and all I would think about was, well, what am I going to do before the show? What am I going to do after the show? And looking forward to tomorrow's show. And it was this crazy experience because everyone was there. Everyone who was there knew to expect great things. It's fucking awesome to think that there's still people out there who can really appreciate, true rock and roll when they hear it. And not many bands can still deliver and develop that kind of rock. But I feel like those 7 nights at the Beat Kitchen really made it clear how great this band had become.